If you watched my last two videos, you know that we were taking a teen driving class put on by Teen Driving Solutions up at Virginia International Raceway. It was a great class. If you want to get a little recap of each of the days, go ahead and back and watch those videos. What I want to do tonight is cover the program in a little bit more detail, talk about what we did, my impressions, and then wrap up with some video from those 2 days. So I just want to start out by saying, again, if you have a teen, new driver, you need to look into taking this class. There's so much value in it. You get the classroom theory. They talk about, distracted driving and proper seating position in a car, things like that. And you get hands-on practical stuff, just how to handle a car in different situations, emergency situations, things like that, or what happens when your car goes off the road, how do you safely recover it back onto the road, as well as just general maintenance of the car. So great class. So let me get into it and share with you what is Teen Driving Solutions. So before I guess into the program a little bit, the reason behind it is the number one cause of teenage deaths in the United States is car crashes. So you think about that, and just it's something we do every day. I guess a lot of us take it for granted. A lot of us don't do it very well, and number one cause, teenage deaths. And when you think about that, that's kind of scary. This is our next generation. We got to do everything we can to prepare them for that. And another little statistic in there is that 400,000 teens are injured in car crashes every year. So beyond the deaths, 400,000 injuries per year. Not a great number. So program was designed, put together to eliminate teenage deaths in cars because of car crashes. So that would be a great goal, and I hope that more people take this kind of program seriously. There are others that are probably as good, but definitely, we need to do something, take care of our teens and help them survive out there, and it's not just the teens. A lot of it's on us as well. So the class is designed to be family focused. So even though it's Teen Driving Solutions and the focus is on the teen, there's also the family component of it, in the sense that you learn how to communicate with your child better, especially when they're driving. You don't want to necessarily be yelling at them the whole time or not saying anything to them the whole time. So part of the program is designed to establish communication, a technique that you can use in the car, but outside too as well, and share that information, have better dialogue and better communication. So which only helps develop a healthy relationship. So obviously a very, very important component of driving. There's got to be a lot of trust both in the teen and from the parents about when the teen gets out there driving, and having that new way to communicate just helps build that. So so you have the communication, the shift in communication portion of it. You have the student learns the skills in there, but the parents learn the skills. We do a lot of the same exercises that the students do, maybe not as much. We don't get as much practice, but we do get a chance to go through it. And that kind of level sets so that when the kid is talking about being in a certain situation or something, the parents can relate to that as well. A lot of value in that, because you can talk about, and both people know, what does it feel like to swerve around an obstacle? What does it feel like to come to an emergency stop and things like that? And then through the program, it just helps reinforce, what was learned throughout the whole class. So class is divided up into some classroom and then some in-car training as well. Classroom, again, I touched on a little bit earlier, talks about responsibility. What is the teen driver's responsibility? What's our responsibility when we go out onto the road? They talk about the dangers of impairment or drugs and alcohol when you're driving. They talk about the physics of the car, how the physics of the car and the dynamics of the car change when you accelerate or decelerate, when you turn left and right. How does the weight shift? How does traction transfer back and forth between the different parts of the car? Things like that. And then they also do a little bit of maintenance on the car. They change the tire on a car. In fact, they had a little competition, they broke up into teams, see who can change the tire the fastest. They talk about the fluids and the brakes and just different parts of that. And then, they talk about every time you drive, at least once a week, you should do a walk around the car and just look at the tires, look underneath. Is there anything? Quick walk around, doesn't have to be too in depth. But look for things that aren't there. I know as a motorcycle instructor, we have our T-clocks, which is our pre-ride inspection, and we tell the students you should do that before every ride. But something I hadn't really thought of when it comes to the car. We maintain it, we check the air pressures, check the fluids, things like that fairly regularly, but I don't do the walk around once a week. I'm going to be getting in the habit of that, so it doesn't take very long to do. Walk around, check it out, hit the road. And then there's the on-road in-car portion of the class, where they teach the students how to brake both with and without anti-lock brakes. So good skill to have. Talk about driving in reverse, show them how to parallel park, how to do escape maneuvers, how to do recovery. If your car goes off the road, how do you recover back on the road? So just general avoiding hazard type exercises. So really great structure program to the class. So my experience with it was great. You show up Saturday morning and all the students and parents are together. They kind of brief the program, what we're going to be doing, and then they split the parents and the students. And parents are off doing their things, learning communication skills and things like that. And the students are off learning their things. And then they go out driving. They do they have different things for the students to do. So really, the only time that the parents and the students are together at the beginning of the day, at lunchtime, and at the end of the day. Other than that, we're split up and they're doing their thing and we're doing our thing. So our focus as parents were on communication techniques, understanding that everything we do and they do, everybody does, is about choices, making choices, and our backgrounds leading up to making those choices. And realizing that when we make a choice, there are consequences. And of course, when we say consequences, everybody thinks negatively. If I run that red light, I'm going to get in a crash. But the consequences could be positive too. Good things can happen. So anyway, they talk about consequences and stuff, and then we get to go out and do some driving around and doing the same type of exercises the students do. And one of the first ones, well, not the first ones, but one of the ones we did is where two cars are going, they start at opposite sides of a circle and they get you going. You basically want to catch up to the other car, and you're in a tight circle, so you can't go too fast. You'll start understeering where the front end starts sliding out, and you get to practice controlling that, slowing down a little, adjusting the steering a little to maintain control of the car. So we do things like that. Really, really good. First day is, as they said, you dip your toes in the water. You get a little introduction to these things. I mean, you're out there, you're doing it, and you're pushing the limits of the car and that. But the second day is really when it starts. As they say, they push you into the deep end of the pool. They throw you in. You start doing more of the maneuvers with the quick, high speeds and then stopping, swerving. Again, the off-road recovery, great program, and again, to have that experience and to practice that, great. Where are you going to practice that in the real world? Maybe you find a parking lot and you kind of know what you're doing, but we don't do that. So here is a safe environment that you can go and learn how to do that, and just have that hands-on experience, and there's nothing like doing it and feeling it, and the other thing, again, it's safe environment, so you can make a mistake out there, slam on the brakes too hard and you go skidding for a little bit. Well, okay, that's not great when it's not what you want to do in a real situation, but you get that feel for that, and then you can learn the next time how to brake, get that threshold where you're giving it maximum brake pressure, but you're not locking up the tires and things like that, and just swinging the steering wheel around and swerving around obstacles and get a feel for, the car's not really going to tip over, and how much control you have over that car. So great classroom material, great in-car material, really liked it. So what are 3 things that I really liked about this course? So the first thing I noticed is we live in an area where there are a lot of 2-lane windy roads, and my son likes those. We let him drive to and from church and around town, and he likes that. He likes going around those corners and things like that. He's always watched his speed limit. He's been very good about that. But sometimes when he comes to a curve, he likes to slow down a little bit. Well, Sunday morning, we were driving from the hotel into the racetrack, windy roads just like we have around here, and I noticed a difference in his confidence in taking those corners. He was more stable, more steady with his speed, not so hesitant to get in there. He wasn't being reckless or anything, but he definitely had more confidence, more control. He was a lot smoother. And that was only after one day in the class, so it was just a noticeable difference from how he was driving before to that point. So, it was great. I haven't been able to ride with him yet since the class has been over. Hopefully that happens a little later on tonight, but that was one of the things that, again, really impressed me. One day, and his confidence had already bumped up a bit, and his control of the car, smooth with the controls. Very good. Next thing I liked was watching my wife drive. So she was hesitant. She didn't really want to do some of the stuff, and I can understand why. But, especially the second day, the instructor's like, I really want you to do this. Just try it. Just do it. And she did, and she was hesitant at first and, didn't want to get her speed up, didn't want to hit the brakes, slow through the obstacles. And we go through the whole course one time, and he's like, good, I want you to do it again. And then just watching her progress and her confidence go up and start, again, maneuvering the vehicle around. And then we went around the third time, and it was just, it was great. So I think her confidence even went up a little bit on that. And she feels more comfortable about controlling a car and what to do in those different situations. So I really enjoyed that, and just seeing her do that, because I don't think she believed she could do that before, and she can do it, and great. That was great. And then I think the third thing that I liked from the class, and it kind of goes back to my son driving again. At the end of the second day, the students drive the parents around in the car doing all these maneuvers. And one thing that the students did that we didn't get to do, so it was a total surprise to us, being in the car. So he's in the driver's seat, instructor's in the passenger, Mom and I are in the back seat, and they do this, what they call an hourglass. So basically there's 4 cones at the corners, and then there's 2 cones in the middle of 2 sides, and they drive around them, if you can imagine, making an hourglass figure. And just my son driving that, and the control he has again, and the confidence, you know, because he's smashing on the gas pedal and whipping that car around, and we're breaking traction, we're sliding a little bit, but he's controlling it and just going around. It's, I guess, mini drifting, which is what he's like. Are we going to drift in the class? I'm like, I don't think so, but I guess in a way it's mini drifting. But to sit there and watch and see him do that, and the control he had, and he was calm. He's looking where he's just, all the pieces are there, and the way he's controlling the car, amazing. Just the respect I have for him for being able to do that after 2 days of driving. A little bit jealous I didn't get a chance to try something like that, and I have a feeling if I did that I would not have been able to do as well as he did. So over the top. It was great. Yeah, so, you know, just when you're able to sit back in the car and watch. I mean, it's a controlled environment, and the instructor's there with him and kind of helping him a little bit as far as, you know, giving him clues. But just the confidence, the calmness, and the control that he showed doing that, just amazing. In the end, at the end of this class, I feel a lot more comfortable and confident in putting him out on the road than I did before the class. He's a cautious driver. He's been very good, always paying attention around him, but I think he's now equipped a little bit better to handle different situations, and he's aware now to avoid situations, maybe not even getting that crash to begin with, or get near it where he has to avoid it. So intangible things like that are just, you know, you can't put a price on, but there it is. Yeah, so you can tell I'm a fan of the class. Again, I would highly recommend it. I would suggest it. Check it out. I'm going to leave a link to Teen Driving Solutions in the description below. So please, please, please take the time to check them out if you have a teen driver. I can't say enough. It's 100% worth it. So there you have it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up now. And I'm going to leave you with 2 videos. The first one is kind of the first part of his final exercise, where his mom and I were driving around with him, or he was driving us around, chauffeuring us around. He does like 8 different maneuvers. I have them written on here so I won't forget them all. We start out with a quick stop. He accelerates, and then he comes to a quick stop, and the car has anti-lock brakes, and the instructor told him, you know, work on being able to stop without using the anti-lock brakes. So, you know, that was his goal, just be able to stop, no anti-lock brakes, no skidding, stop in the shortest distance. So that's the first one, and then the second exercise we come up to is doing a swerve. He approaches the swerve area obstacle, and the instructor tells him left or right. He has no clue which way he's going to go. The instructor tells him he goes around it. He's got to go around the obstacle, bring it back into the lane that they have so that they can keep going. You know, you can't just go off to the left and ride through the field. Got to keep it on the road. So there's that. And then the next one, there were a couple different things you can do on this. You swerve to the left, you do one thing. You swerve to the right, you do another thing. So on this one, he goes down. There's an obstacle in front of him. He avoids it to the right, and part of the exercise is to go off-road so that he can go off-road, do his on-road recovery, and come to a stop. So when you see him run in the grass, it's on purpose. It's by design so that he gets at showing what to do when you go off the road and then come back on and recover. The next one, he just speeds up, curves going to the right, he gets to 2 cones, and then he's got to stop quickly, turn the wheel to the right, and come to a stop. great stuff. After that, he goes through 2 sets of weaves. The first one is kind of an offset weave, so he rides around there. And then the second one is the weave shortens up. So he starts with a bit of distance between each cone, and then towards the end, short distance. So it teaches you awareness. You know, you get in this habit of just going around, you get comfortable, you get confident, and all of a sudden the situation changes. So designed to prepare you to always be looking for that and be prepared to handle that situation. So he does that, and then he finishes up with the quick stop again. And then the final video I'll leave you with is that hourglass that we're doing. And I wish the video was better on it. You don't get the feel, the appreciation for what he's doing in there, and just moving around in the car, the way he's maneuvering it, whipping it around, and making this happen. So I'll share it. It doesn't do it justice, but you get a feel for how fast he's going and kind of the maneuvers that he's doing in that car, making that happen. So that's it. I hope you enjoy the video. Like I said, a little bit longer than I had planned, so I appreciate you sticking with me and watching this one. Hopefully it's worthwhile. Enjoy. I'll talk to you tomorrow.